move on to actually creating some of the scenes from the intro animation, there is one other topic of unconventional animation that I want to cover, and that's going to be using solvers. So let's just start off with a simple add node, and let's just build on some of the things that we did before. So we're going to just create a point here, and we're just going to simply move it using a solver. So let's drop down a SOP solver. We can jump inside here, and we can drop down an attribute wrangle. And in here, we can do some sort of vex expression. And let's just pop that out, make it a little bit bigger. And we already took a look at using the frame number to drive like the movement in the upwards y direction. So let's just look at that as well. So we'll do a at p.y plus equals, and then we'll do some value. So 0.1 should work. And if I click accept here, I go ahead and let's jump out just to make a sphere and a copy to points so that we can visualize this super easily. So if I look at this and I press play now, you can see that we have this sphere that's just going to continuously move up. And that's basically as simple as it gets with the solvers. That's really all you need to do to create some movements. It's going to take the frame, and every frame it's going to recursively apply this wrangle. So it's going to take the previous frame, and then it's going to run it through this wrangle, and then it's going to output that to the next frame. And then so on frame 2, we will have the output of frame 1 as the input here. So then it'll add another 0.1 to it every frame. So we can build upon this and do some things that are a little bit more interesting and useful. So let's just, here I can wrap this up. And then we can drop down like a pig head, for example. And I'm gonna just uncheck that shader, and let's drop down a subdivide as well. Crank that up a little bit just to get some higher resolution here on our mesh, and I can disable our UV views there. And then we can take this and we can start to create a mask. So we can do an attribute create, and I'll just call this mask. And then we can just grab a group here and select maybe some of the points in the ear, basically whatever we want here. And let's set the values here to just 1. And so when I look at this, if I look at our mask, actually, sorry, we want this to default to be 0 and the value to be 1. And that's going to set everything to be 0 except for where we have that group selected, and it's going to set that value to be a value of 1. And then we can pipe this into a solver here. Jump inside here. And in here, we can drop down a attribute blur. We can select our attribute that we want, which is that mask attribute. And we can crank up the blurring iterations here. So maybe, I don't know, something like this. And you can see what this is going to do is it's going to blur this out. And it kind of stops there. So it gets to a certain point. But let's go ahead and take an attribute, adjust float. And in here, let's take that mask attribute once again. And instead of adding something to it, let's go ahead and just multiply this. And if we multiply this by a value less than 1, if I go ahead and press play, it's going to slowly, well, it should slowly disappear. There we go. So it slowly disappears there until it gets to that value of 0. And then if we do something above 1, and then we go ahead and check this enable post process, because this is a mask value. We want to just make sure that the maximum value is going to be a value of 1, because we want it to be between 0 and 1. Since masks are typically between 0 and 1, you can use those to drive things like shaders or basically kind of whatever you want. And so if I press play now, we get this kind of a growth effect on our mesh. And this is really the basis for all sorts of different attribute growth effects, which are very handy to do inside of Houdini. There's lots of different ways to do them. This is just one of the ways, and this is kind of the basis of how we can go about doing this. So lots of different ways to achieve this type of a thing, and you can, add to this and build upon this kind of however you want. But that's going to be kind of the basis of it. And I just wanted to show that as another way to get some sort of like keyframeless animation. There's lots of things that you can do with solvers to generate these types of effects, but one of those that is super useful and you see a lot in Houdini is those attribute growth effects. So figured I would show that as well. So we'll just wrap this up here. And in the next videos, we'll start to build out the animations that we saw in the intro animation. So we'll go ahead and jump on into that next.